Welcome back to the AI Coach by Anil Nathu. We're diving deep into decision intelligence service providers, or DSPs as they're often called.
Yeah, DSPs.
You're probably here because you're dealing with some seriously tough business decisions
Oh, yeah.
and probably got a ton of data to try and figure out.
That's the world we live in, right? It's
Yeah.
data everywhere.
Exactly, and that's where DISPs come in, right?
They can be a game changer. In today's world, you need data to make smart decisions, and DSPs are the experts at helping you use that data.
So they're like data guides.
More like strategic partners. They really work with you to figure out your goals.
Yeah.
And then use all this fancy AI and data analytics to help you reach them.
Oh, so let's imagine a company's got a big decision to make, like launching a new product line. They've done all the research, got customer surveys, market trends, competitor analysis, all that.
Sounds like a lot of data.
It is, and they don't know where to start. That's when a DISP steps in.
Exactly. They help you make sense of it all, and they don't just tell you what the data says. They give you real, actionable insights.
Okay, so they're data wizards. But what do they actually do?
All sorts of things. One of the biggest things is they bring all your data together. Like imagine trying to bake a cake with ingredients all over the kitchen.
Flour in one cupboard, sugar in another.
Yeah, exactly. A DSP is like that chef who comes in and organizes everything, makes sure it's all clean and usable.
So they're data chefs.
Something like that.
And then once the data is prepped, what happens then?
Then comes the fun part analysis. That's where AI and machine learning come in. They can spot those hidden patterns and trends, things we humans might miss.
So it's not just about having data, it's about understanding it.
Exactly. You got to find the insights.
But what about decision support systems? I've heard that term a lot.
Oh, yeah, those are a big part of what DISPs do. Think of them as AI-powered tools. They take all that data analysis and then give you recommendations or predictions.
Like an AI advisor.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. So it sounds like DISPs have to be really good at communicating too.
Communication is key because they got to explain all this complex stuff to people who might not be data experts.
Yeah, like translating data into plain English.
Exactly. And they also need to be able to visualize the data, create charts, graphs, and reports that make it easy to understand.
So like data storytellers.
I like that.
So to be a DISP superstar,
Yeah.
what kind of skills are we talking about?
Well, first of all, you need that solid technical foundation. You got to understand AI, machine learning, data management, statistical analysis.
Sounds like a lot.
It is, but it's not just about the tech skill.
Right, got to be able to talk to people too.
Exactly. You need those communication skills, be able to explain things clearly, and tailor your approach to different audiences.
Kind of like a data diplomat.
Yeah, something like that.
And of course, they need to be good problem solvers.
Oh, absolutely. They're often brought in to tackle really tough challenges, so they got to be able to think creatively and find those solutions hidden in the data.
Like data detectives. But I imagine this road to data-driven enlightenment, it's not always smooth sailing, is it?
Definitely not. There are plenty of bumps along the way.
Like what?
Well, data quality is a big one. You can have the best AI in the world, but if the data's bad, the results will be too.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly.
So how do DSPs deal with that?
They spend a lot of time cleaning and preparing the data, making sure it's accurate and consistent.
So like data janitors,
In a way.
what other challenges are there?
Another big one is the speed of technology. AI and machine learning are constantly changing.
So DSPs have to keep learning new things all the time.
All the time. If they don't, they'll fall behind.
So it's like a data marathon.
Yeah, you got to keep pace. And speaking of keeping pace, you can stay up to date with the latest on the AI Coach by Anil Nathu.
Absolutely. What about managing client expectations? Is that a challenge too?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Clients often want results fast, but good DI work takes time.
So it's about setting realistic expectations from the start.
Exactly, and being transparent throughout the process, letting clients know what's going on.
Transparency is key.
Yeah.
Now, cybersecurity, that must be a big concern too, right?
Huge concern. DSPs are dealing with sensitive information, so they need to have top-notch security, encryption, access controls, regular audits.
So they're not just data experts, they're data guardians.
Exactly.
Protecting their clients' most valuable assets.
That's right.
So we've talked about what DSPs do and the challenges they face. But let's say a company is ready to hire one. How do they choose the right DISP?
Well, the first step is to be really clear about your goals. What are you trying to achieve with data? What problems are you trying to solve?
It's kind of like hiring any other professional service.
Exactly. You got to know what you need. And then you can start looking for a DSP with the right experience and expertise.
So you wouldn't hire a plumber to fix your electrical wiring?
Haha. No, you wouldn't. You need a DSP who specializes in your industry and the specific challenges you're facing.
So it's about finding the right data specialist for the job.
Exactly.
What else should companies consider?
Well, you want to look at their service offerings. Do they offer the full range of DI solutions? Or do they specialize in certain areas?
It's like browsing a data menu.
Haha, that's a good way to put it. And of course, you want to consider their technology. Are they using the latest tools and platforms? Or are they stuck in the past?
You want a DSP who's on the cutting edge.
Exactly.
But it's not all about the technical stuff, is it?
No, definitely not. You also need to think about the human factor. Communication and collaboration are essential.
Right, because you're going to be working with these people.
Exactly. So cultural fit is important. You want a DSP who understands your values and your way of working.
It's like finding a data soulmate.
Huh? I like that. Someone you can really connect with.
And of course, you need to discuss the financial aspects too.
Absolutely. Be clear about pricing, contracts, service level agreements. Transparency is key.
So make sure you're both on the same page.
Exactly.
Because choosing a DSP, it's an investment in your organization's future. It's about finding a partner who can help you navigate this data-driven world.
Exactly.
And make smarter decisions that lead to success.
That's the goal.
Now, speaking of the future, what does the future hold for DISPs?
Well, one thing's for sure, the demand for DI expertise is only going to grow.
Because data is just going to become more and more important.
Yeah, exactly. But the role of the DSP is also evolving. We're seeing a shift towards greater specialization.
So instead of being data generalists, they're becoming data specialists.
Exactly, focusing on specific industries or business functions.
So like healthcare DSPs, finance DSPs, marketing DSPs.
Exactly.
And this allows them to really develop deep expertise.
And tailor their solutions more effectively.
So it's like anything else, the more you specialize, the better you become.
Exactly.
What other trends are you seeing?
Well, another big one is automation. DSPs are using AI and machine learning, not just to analyze data, but also to automate certain parts of the DI process.
So it's like DI on autopilot.
In a way, yes.
But with a skilled DSP at the helm, of course.
Yeah, of course. These automation tools free up DSPs to focus on more strategic work.
So they can spend less time on the mundane tasks.
Exactly.
But even with all this automation, the human element is still crucial, right?
Absolutely. In fact, I think it's going to become even more important.
Why is that?
Because AI and machine learning are powerful tools, but they can't replace human judgment, human intuition, creativity, ethical considerations.
So DSPs will need to become even more skilled at bridging that gap between technology and human understanding.
Exactly. They'll need to be able to interpret the data and help organizations make sense of it all.
So they're like data translators.
Yeah, that's more.
And as the world becomes even more data-driven, the role of the DSP will only become more important.
Absolutely. They'll be the ones helping organizations unlock the true potential of data.
And make better decisions.
Exactly.
It's an exciting time to be in this field.
It really is. And if you're interested in learning more, you can find a wealth of resources on the AI Coach by Anil Nathu.
Absolutely. It's the go-to resource for all things AI. We've covered a lot of ground today, from what a DSP is to the future of the field. So let's take a moment to absorb all this information. And when we come back, we'll recap the key takeaways and leave you with some final thoughts. You're listening to the AI Coach by Anil Nathu. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the AI Coach by Anil Nathu.
We're continuing our deep dive into decision intelligence service providers.
Right where we left off talking about some of the challenges DISPs face.
Data quality, keeping up with technology, all that.
Yeah, and another one we touched on was managing client expectations.
Right, because clients might have unrealistic expectations.
Sometimes they think DI is like magic.
Like they'll get instant results.
Exactly, but good DI work takes time and careful planning.
So it's important for DSPs to set realistic expectations from the start.
Absolutely. You got to be upfront and honest about timelines and potential roadblocks and what's actually achievable.
And I imagine communication is key here too.
Oh, absolutely. You got to keep those lines of communication open. Explain things clearly. Make sure everyone's on the same page.
It's a partnership, right?
Exactly. Both the DSP and the client got to work together.
Now, what about cybersecurity? With all this data floating around, security must be a top priority.
Oh, it's non-negotiable in this field. DSPs are dealing with sensitive information, so they need to have those robust security protocols in place.
Things like encryption and access controls.
Exactly. And regular security audits, too.
So they're not just data experts, they're data guardians.
Exactly, protecting their clients' information.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about the future of DSPs. We've already talked about specialization and automation.
Right, those are big trends.
What else is on the horizon?
Well, one exciting thing is the integration of DI with other technologies.
Like what kind of technologies?
Well, for example, natural language processing.
Ah, so instead of writing code, you could just talk to the system.
Exactly. You could ask it questions in plain English.
That would make DI a lot more user-friendly.
Exactly. More people could use it.
What other cool technologies are being integrated?
Well, we're also seeing virtual reality and augmented reality being used.
VR and AR for data visualization.
Exactly. Imagine being able to step inside your data.
Wow, that sounds amazing. But with all this technological advancement, do you think the human element will become less important?
Not at all. In fact, I think it'll become even more crucial.
How so?
Because AI and machine learning can only take us so far. They can't replace human intuition, creativity, ethical judgment.
So DISPs will need to become even more skilled at that.
At bridging the gap between technology and human understanding,
Exactly.
they'll need to be able to interpret the data and make sure it's being used ethically and responsibly.
So they're not just data scientists, they're data ethicists.
Exactly.
You know, I'm curious about how the role of the DISP might evolve within organizations.
That's a good question.
Do you think they'll become more integrated into existing teams?
I think we'll see a mix of both. Some DISPs might become embedded within specific departments.
Like marketing or finance?
Exactly, working closely with those teams on a daily basis, while others might operate as central hubs of expertise, providing support to different departments.
So it's all about finding the right model for each organization.
Exactly.
And I think we'll also see an increasing demand for DSPs with specialized industry knowledge.
Absolutely. As more industries embrace data-driven decision-making, they'll need DSPs who understand their specific challenges.
So we might have healthcare DSPs, finance DSPs, retail DSPs.
Exactly.
Now, for those aspiring DSPs out there, what advice would you give them?
Well, first and foremost, I'd say build a strong foundation in data science principles and techniques.
So mastering the basics.
Exactly. But don't forget those soft skills, too. Communication, problem-solving, business acumen.
Right, because it's not just about the numbers.
Exactly. You got to be able to connect with people, explain things clearly, understand the business context.
And of course, stay curious and embrace lifelong learning.
Absolutely. This field is constantly evolving. You got to keep learning and growing.
And don't be afraid to get your hands dirty.
Exactly. Seek out real-world projects, internships, freelance work. The more experience you get, the better.
And find a mentor, someone who can guide you.
Absolutely. There are lots of experienced DSPs out there who are willing to share their knowledge.
It's a great community to be a part of.
It really is.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today, exploring the present and the future of DSPs.
We have.
Before we move on to our final thoughts, let's take a moment to recap the key takeaways.
Sounds good.
Let's take a quick pause to gather our thoughts. And when we come back, we'll distill the essence of what we've discussed. You're listening to The AI Coach by Anil Nathu. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The AI Coach by Anil Nathu.
Where we've been exploring the world of decision intelligence service providers.
We've talked about what they do, how to choose the right one, even got a glimpse into the future.
Lots to cover.
So let's take a moment to recap.
Yeah, let's crystallize those key takeaways.
If we were to boil it down to a few essential points, what would those be?
Well, I think the biggest one is that DSPs are not just techies.
Right, they're more than just number crunchers.
Exactly, they're strategic partners. They work with you to solve real business problems. Using data, of course.
They're like data whisperers.
I like that.
And finding the right DSP is crucial.
Oh, absolutely. It's like finding the perfect business partner.
You got to make sure they're a good fit for your organization.
You need to look at their experience, their expertise, their approach to communication.
Make sure they understand your values, your goals.
And remember, this field is constantly changing.
It's evolving all the time.
So you need a DSP who's adaptable, who's embracing new technologies.
Who's always learning and growing.
Exactly.
And who understands the importance of the human element.
Because in the end, it's all about people.
Using data to make better decisions.
Yep.
To solve problems, to make a positive impact.
And for anyone listening who's interested in learning more, I encourage you to check out The AI Coach by Anil Nathu.
Absolutely. It's a
Yeah.
fantastic resource full of insights and guidance on all things AI and DI.
So whether you're a business leader or a data professional or just someone who's curious about the future, the AI coach is the place to be.
And as we wrap up this deep dive,
Let me leave you with one final thought.
go ahead.
The future of DI is bright.
I agree.
It's full of possibilities, and it's up to all of us to shape that future.
To use data for good.
To create a world where decisions are made, not on gut feeling, but on evidence and insights.
So embrace the data revolution.
Explore the possibilities. And join us on The AI Coach by Anil Matthew as we continue to unlock the power of AI.
Thank you for joining us today. Visit the AI Coach website for more AI insights by Anil Nathu.